What's up, guys? This is the RumblePac podcast. I'm your host, Stefano Fontana. I'm alone today with, not alone technically, we have a guest. Unfortunately.
Alone? What are you talking about? This is Valentine's Day, Stefano. We're getting pretty intimate here.
No, come on.
One to one.
Let's keep this professional. At least with our voices.
That's for later.
Shh. This is Mark Kimoyog. He is, what do you do again? Do you, sit around and do nothing? Collect toys on your desk?
Yeah, it's the senior toy collector.
that's Alana Pierce's job. Don't take her job from IGN.
All right.
The UX designer.
I am the UI interface designer at Digital Extremes.
Ooh, and what do you guys do? Like nothing?
It's a little game called Warframe.
No, it doesn't. A few people play that.
On all platforms.
Yeah. That's about the only game they, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Burying you. There's no favoritism in this world, okay? You might be my friend, but I bury everybody equally. Sorry, Mark.
I'm gonna kill you after this.
Didn't mean to make fun of your game too bad there, Mark. Your company's alright, I guess. Don't kill me.
It's silent treatment right now.
That's where I can feel it.
It's really... Can't really record that through sound.
Yeah, trust me, he's giving me real bad cut eye currently. Warframe's really fun. There's a certain fan that has something to say to you about it, but I don't know. He obviously can't talk to us now, but I'm sure I'll leave a comment of some sort.
If I had just physical bags of just platinums, I would just hand that off to your side.
Thank you so much.
And then start...
Give me good reviews. Here's platinum. I mean, the video games industry's not corrupt at all. What are you talking about? So I guess we'll start out how we normally start out. What are we playing this week? Mark, what are you playing this week?
I am playing Rainbow Six Siege and Unravel.
That's a very, very strange pair of games to play together.
Well, when friends want to play something, I'm just like, I guess it's Siege then.
I guess so.
Right? Can't really play multiplayer with Unravel.
Or you could try.
Okay, everyone gets each button.
Yes.
I get the left thumbstick, you get the right.
Sounds like a terrible time. That's the hardest way to play that game ever.
Reminds me of Super Mario Galaxy, when they had the co-op mode for that game.
I never played that game.
Oh, you can be a real troll in that game.
Oh, no.
Because the second player controls a star, and what ends up happening is you can make Mario double jump. So you could intentionally make your friend fuck up.
Well, you're a bad dude. You're a bad dude if you do that.
Let's just say I did that
way
too much.
You're a real jerk. You're a real jerky jerk. Wow. You're a real bad guy. I'm never playing games with you ever.
What?
Play the Division with you? Never again. One time.
What are you talking about? I did pretty well there.
Yeah, you didn't murder me.
Yeah, because it wasn't the dark
zone. Except we both ran into the frickin' one poisonous gas room 100 times, dying for nothing.
Did you play the dark zone, actually?
I did.
Yeah.
The first time I went there for the first 5 seconds, someone tried to kill me and I murdered him with a grenade, like a stick. I had sticky grenades equipped. He started shooting me, so I just tossed it to his face and blew him up. And I'm like, that's what happened.
Wait, then, this was right away from the mission?
Like the first minute I walked in the dark zone.
Wow.
Like I walked around, did the first little bit, and then came back to step out, and the guy started shooting at me. I'm like, wow.
So it's a no holds barred session.
Yeah, they don't mess around. There's always you're constantly able to get shot at. There's never a safe zone. Like there's safe zones like in buildings that you go into, but once you're in the streets, there's no safe zone. Like you can get shot no matter what.
Well, it's a good thing the beta's coming up soon.
Yeah, the open beta.
Yeah,
there's gonna be no holds bar, so many people killing each other, but it's gonna be good to stress test, I guess.
Actually, there was an article about that, about how if you are a player in Division from either the alpha. The alpha or the closed beta, apparently a lot of people are dicks.
They'll be dicks to you if you're from those games?
No, just you're just gonna have to assume that everyone's gonna try to kill you when you're in the dark zone.
Yeah, but your stuff doesn't carry over, thank God.
That's a good thing.
Because otherwise then it's just OP people just murdering everybody in the dark zone, right?
Well, that's what I was thinking, right? Is everyone just being jerks because it was the beta, or because if in the full game they're just going to continue doing that?
I suspect that everyone's just going to be jerks.
Yeah. It's going to be like Red Dead Redemption.
I feel like it's actually, honestly, there are certain people you get there and they're some are really, really rude. Other people will just be they'll be because it's inner mics, right? You don't have to be in a group. You can talk open waves. So you can be don't shoot. Do not, please don't shoot. And some people if they see someone else shooting somebody else, they'll help you because they don't like that the guy's being rude or whatever.
So the honor system.
Yeah, it still exists surprisingly on the internet, which is a shock, considering there's nothing I can do to stop you from doing it. That's the whole point of the game, right? But anyway, how's Unraveled? Was it good? Worth buying?
I played basically the equivalent of the demo. I didn't get too far into the game. It was actually pretty fun. I mean, like the one example I would probably make it so close to would be, aesthetically at least, would be Little Big Planet.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think the difference between what makes the controls so well in Unraveled, unlike Little Big Planet, is that you don't have like those 3 plane switching between, whereas you just have that one plane and you're just going left and right, and if you're going up and down. But the cool mechanic in that game is that you can't really explore too much because of the yarn.
Okay.
So whatever the length is, if you, let's say there's a certain limit, once you hit that cap, you gotta find the next set of yarns.
Oh, okay.
In the level.
There's
in order to proceed.
Looking for secrets and stuff.
Yeah.
You'd be very wary.
It's almost like a, I wouldn't say Metroidvania, but it kind of limits you, but like that limit makes you want to explore even more.
Yeah, like test the limits of how far you can go, kind of thing.
Exactly.
That sounds alright.
Yeah.
And Siege, is that worth playing?
Yes.
I don't know anyone that's played it, so.
I think the common thought for everyone, especially if they're not really too much into multiplayer like myself, is that full price game for a multiplayer only title.
It's Battlefront and Siege came out at the same time. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, was it?
Around the same time. Siege was a little earlier.
Siege was in December, was it not?
So was Battlefront.
No, Battlefront was
January?
November.
Battlefront was before?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know. Was it really?
Yeah, because it was supposed to be like about a month before the movie was supposed to come out. So, yeah.
Wow, I thought it was around the same time.
Yeah, it had a huge gap. It was weird because both Rainbow Six Siege and Just Cause probably came out around the same time, exactly within the first week of December. And I'm just like, wow, you guys are literally the last games to come out.
Just Cause was kind of like running its own face.
Yeah. Did it?
It was crashing a whole lot. I remember that. We have a lot of problems with load times. Like 5-minute load times to start the game up and shit like that.
I don't know. I haven't heard much issues from people who actually bought it.
I heard the control scheme's shitty.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
There's no lock on.
No.
There's no aim down the sights.
So is it just the exact same game as the second one?
I think just better graphics, bigger world, more stuff to do.
And really unstable on console.
Yeah, exactly. So like pretty much no point in getting it.
Oh, great.
Yeah. What have I been playing? I played Firewatch. I played Gone Home.
Again?
Again. Because I love that game so much. I think I only played Firewatch. I really haven't played many video games. Firewatch is a $20 game, PS4 exclusive, solid. It's a solid time. The game looks amazing. I'm not going to talk much about it because it's a story-based game, and any kind of spoilers and stuff will, ruin it.
Can you not talk about, like, at least the mechanics for the game?
The mechanics are very, like, it's a vehicle, They're not, like, super impressive, but they're deliberate. Everything is done in a certain way to make the game more realistic, seem like you're in it. So there's no HUD. The HUD is, you pull a map out and a compass, like Far Cry 2.
Okay.
And you have to figure where you are and then move in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
You have a walkie-talkie. You're talking to a girl named Delilah on the other end, and you don't see her. Like the whole point is you haven't seen her before.
Mm-hmm.
And you grab the walkie-talkie and she'll talk to you randomly and deliberately for story purposes. And if you don't answer in time, she'll think you're ignoring you, get mad, and not talk to you.
Oh, okay.
So like you really could only talk to her you only have to talk to her like 7 times in the game. But there's like so many more dialogue options that you could choose to find and do and build a relationship with this character. And I think that's really cool. It's set in the 80s, late 80s. Some nostalgia, obviously. You know how I feel about that. There's like cool like
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yes.
You like period games.
Very specific. You know what another thing is though is that specific period games, and games like that really help. Like Gone Home, like this game. If they were in any other period, it wouldn't work. This game, you're a Firewatch tower attendee in Wyoming. That wouldn't. The technology you'd have now would make it difficult to tell the story that they're telling.
Yeah.
And Gone Home wouldn't work at all because you have a cell phone. You'd be like, "Where are you, Mom?" And then there would be like no question. You just know what's happening immediately. There would be no mystery to solve.
Yeah.
So, I like that people use they use the time and environment to the advantage of the story, and that makes games more special to me because that means everything is done deliberately. Everything was done in the game to make sure that the story was told a certain way, and there's always reason and logic behind every decision at that point. Mm-hmm. What else about Firewatch? You get a Polaroid camera, which is really cool, and they have this cool thing where you go on their website, you submit your account or whatever, and they'll send you actual prints of the photos you took in the game.
Oh man, I saw a ton of photos, I think, on Steam. So many good just photos. I was like wishing that they were all like high res photos so I could put them as like backgrounds.
Yeah, right.
On desktop.
The game is really pretty. You get a little bit like chops, and I was playing it like HDMI through my Xbox. So I'm not sure if it was the lag from that, but like it would like skip sometimes with the movement, the camera. But that didn't never took me out. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely worth, it's $20 and it's 4 hours long. It's worth every dollar. There's no platinum. There's only like 5 achievements, and so there's no like achievements. Does not give you replayability. Mm-hmm. You play the game once. That's your story. I think that's their intention. That was the intention of the game, which I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the same way with when they re-released Gone Home, right?
Well, it is, but the Gone Home also allowed you to have
the developer commentary.
So those ones, speed runs.
Yeah. I don't have that achievement.
Yeah, I refuse.
I think it's glitched because I'm pretty sure I got it less than a minute.
I think you have to get all the diaries too.
No.
There's one you have to get all the diaries.
You just have to trigger. Well, there's that one, but the speed run achievement. Literally, you just have to go into the cellar underneath the stairway, and I don't know why I just don't get it.
Yeah, I wonder.
I kind of just gave up.
I didn't get it either. Dude. I want to try again. Actually, I didn't know that was the other achievement. I thought it was just to get all the letters first.
Yeah, there's that one.
I'm gonna try that again then. Yeah, that's what I've been playing. I definitely recommend Firewatch. I like it a lot. Yeah. I thought it looked great. It's like I said, there's certain games that are just like they're for me. Like I knew that I would like Firewatch. I knew that I would like Gone Home. I knew that I would like. I got 3/4 Home. I know I'm gonna like that game. Like there's just certain games I know I'll like. So.
Well, if it's very similar to Gone Home, I'll probably most likely check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. I definitely recommend checking it out. There's lots of things you could miss totally and not understand the story at all if you don't explore and look around. So don't be afraid to do that. It's good. Very important.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, so since this is more of an interview-like thing, don't get weird about interviews.
What?
I said don't be weird about being in an interview. But
I didn't agree to this.
You're being held here against your will. You can't leave until you do the interview.
Damn it.
The topic's going to be a little more. My topic's going to be talking to you, and then you can talk about whatever you want outside of that. If anything we say spikes, that kind of thing.
All right.
I figure it's...
I'm going to be like, what's his face? Martin Scarelli. I'm just going to use the Fifth Amendment line just constantly each time you question.
I'm only here so I don't get fined. I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Exactly.
You dick. Fuck you. Answer my questions, damn it.
I will, don't worry.
So we have a very unique opportunity to talk to someone from this specific part of the video game industry. Not many people talk to these people.
Especially in Canada.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right? How many studios do you really have access to be able to...
There's really only 2. Well, 3, if you include Square Enix.
Yeah, they're all...
Like 3 really big ones.
Yeah, that's true.
What in Montreal and Quebec? There's Square Enix, UB, BioWare.
That's right. Oh, and then the EA studio.
EA just opened up now.
The Jade Raymond studio.
Jade Raymond. My girl. That's it, right? I don't think there's anybody else. They're really big. Yeah, like big AAA studios.
I can't think of any in the top of my head right now.
Yeah, so like... And then in the Toronto space, there's only 2. Really.
Ubi and...
You. Not Toronto, sorry. Like in that,
Within Ontario?
Within Ontario, like main Ontario.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's really only you 2.
Ubi.
There's Big Viking and stuff like that, but like...
Big Viking. Zynga. I know
Is there Zynga here?
Yeah, Zynga's here.
Yeah, I don't count Zynga. They're not really a game studio. No, I don't count them. Sorry, Zynga. Don't sponsor this podcast. I don't want to be involved with you. I'm kidding. If you have lots of money and want to give me some, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know any other studios that are on the top. Well, there's the Chivalry team.
Yes, that's... Didn't they just move here? Isn't that like a thing that came from America?
Yeah, no. What happened was they all lived in different parts of the world, and when they finally launched the game out, they did so well that they decided to consolidate everyone.
Come on over. It's
Come
fun.
to Toronto.
That's good. They'll pay high rent, have a great time. It's great.
Yeah, deal with the ice storm a few years back.
Yeah,
deal with this beautiful weather that we're having this weekend.
It's the 1 week that we've had bad weather. I refuse to complain because we've had a really good winter.
We had a decent weather.
I could wear a spring coat for like 70% of this winter so far. I was like, wow.
Okay, let me ask you this because I asked my friends this. So, in Toronto, it's negative 35 degrees Celsius. Would you rather have that, or would you rather have 8 inches of snow, which is what London's having?
Well, okay. So, if I like you, do I live in an apartment?
Yes.
Then yes, I'd have 8 inches of snow.
But if a house, then you'd.
No, I would rather be cold. I'll take a bus or a taxi everywhere. I don't need. I'd rather be cold. Shoveling the driveway sounds like a disaster. I hate shoveling. Yeah. It's like my least favorite thing ever. All right. So on with this conversation we're gonna have. You work for Digital Extremes. Tell us a little bit about Digital Extremes. You took me there very kindly to visit. It was a very nice place. Yeah. I was very jealous of you. The cafeteria looked very yummy. But tell us more of from the perspective of someone who doesn't necessarily work in the famous part of like a game studio. You know, like the UI and UX matters, but they only really are talked about when they're bad. You know, like they don't get as much attention as other parts of like game development, like animators and stuff like that get. So like, is that obvious? Do you feel that in the studio, or is it kind of like pretty even keel?
So the one thing that I find interesting is that as a person that's outside, the most obvious glaring answer would be they probably don't think about it as much. But in behind the scenes, or at least within the industry, it's actually thought as an underappreciated thing, but it's obviously, like, with all these games coming out recently, you can't say that
it's not important.
Yeah, it's not.
Do they treat you as though it's important, though, or are they kind of like...
Yeah, because...
Like, it's expected to be good.
Because the one thing you have to think about is, not only is gameplay important, but the way that the user, or the player, more specifically, is going to be interacting with the world. And if the user interface is not that good, then, like you said, people will complain.
But only if it's bad. I noticed, like, Batman has really great user interface. That's, like, the only part they really ever comment about is the spin dial wheel. But, you know, what game had really bad? We were talking about it. It was really bad. Give me like, worst user interfaces you've seen on a game.
Like, recent?
Recently. Something that you can remember.
Oh, I can't think of any, to be honest.
They've been pretty good lately.
Yeah, but then again, I just played AAA titles.
Yeah, so hopefully they're good.
Yeah.
You know what? The Witcher was pretty clunky.
You know what? Actually, you are right. The interface in that game, especially the inventory management, is just atrocious.
Yeah, I constantly like flipping through menus over and over again. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I shouldn't have to do it this often.
It's very weird too because, that interface you can clearly tell it was meant for keyboard and mouse. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the early stuff that they were releasing maybe a year or two ago it looked like it was meant for console. So there was some weird transition there where they decided to just stick with one interface.
That's so weird. Yeah. The interface, like, I love that game. That game was amazing, but I couldn't... Flipping through it and stuff was so frustrating. I couldn't even deal with it.
I think Dragon Age Inquisition had somewhat of a successful interface, just in terms of, like, tailoring it to the platform. So, like, obviously the console version, when you look at that game, as opposed to on PC, they're totally different. Yeah. I'm glad when studios do something like that.
So I guess in terms of making games, obviously we're not going to talk about games that you can't talk about yet. But as far as like new projects are considered, when does your part of the design process begin? Like later on in the project, early on in the project, when does that kind of land on a scale for timing?
I feel like it would be early on. Yeah, it's a constant ongoing process, to be honest. Like, if you look at any game throughout when it's releasing, like, there's always something changing, even to the last minute.
Yeah, of course, even voice acting stuff. Some people are like, when is this coming out? And the voice actor changed.
I remember when I was talking to another developer, and they were telling me someone was complaining about, or at least a lot of people were complaining about the weird, like, how awkward the jump button was in Dragon Age Inquisition.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And people were wondering, like, why does this feel not intuitive, or why does it feel like it was thrown in? And it totally was.
It's just like we need a jump button, throw it in there.
Yeah, someone at that studio decided, hey, let's throw that. We need that button in there.
I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't have put that in the beginning. I mean, like, it's kind of an important button.
Well, it was added on very last minute into the production of that game.
That's weird. There's no jump button in Mass Effect?
No, there's not.
Wow.
Right? Because the only way you can only vault.
That's right. There is no real jump button. It's like Gears of War. There's no jump button.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I always forget that. Like, the game just feels so intuitive that you'd think there was a jump button, but there was never a need.
Well, there's also an unintuitive melee button for the first 2 games, and no one really noticed that to begin with, or used it as much. Yeah. I don't feel like. And then until they finally had the Omni Blade, then people started using melee.
Yeah, and then the force push and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, it was important. Mm-hmm. And, okay, so, as far as, like, best user... No, we asked you worst user interface. Mm-hmm. Like, your favorite ones, though, what would they be?
I don't know. I can't... Yeah, I don't... Now I'm trying to think of all the games that I played in the last couple of months. See, I want to say... and I really hate this game. No, not really hate, but... I was really disappointed in it. It was Destiny.
No.
Let's face it, that interface is really good.
I hate it.
We can't lie about that. Yeah. No matter how much you're gonna hate that game, for all those people who hate it, the interface in that game is pretty damn good. Especially considering that thing looks like it was meant for keyboard and mouse, and the way that it interacts so well on keyboard or on controller with thumbstick.
Yeah, they give you the virtual cursor, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Most people kind of fucked that up, but they did a good job. My major gripe with that was that one of the sub-menu levels, like you go in the inventory, and then there's 2 levels of inventory, and sometimes it's hard to know where some things will land, other things won't. Mm-hmm. But other than that, like, I never really had any problems with the menu.
Yeah, because I rarely ever felt like I was fighting the interface to try to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Unlike Witcher.
And you're like, I just want to trade this. I just want to make something. Let me do it.
If you want to go, like, on the top left, I'll just move my cursor literally up there. Whereas in Witcher, it's like, oh, I want to switch this inventory out. Oh, wait, okay, left stick, left stick. Okay, down. Click. Now switch to right.
No. All right, I want to develop this. Oh, I want to craft this. Oh, I don't have the materials. Okay, let me go see if I can make them. Right. Down. Okay, no. Yes, destroy. No. Yes, destroy. Okay, go back. Oh, now all my menus are uncollapsed. I have to go back through all uncollapsing all my menus. Go back to the thing I have to make. Press create. Oh, I still need one more. Go back. It's ridiculous. That game was that part was so frustrating to me. And I love that game so much. So we both played The Division. We played together, as we talked about. What about the Division UI? You told me that some people have problems with it, some people don't. So I was wondering where you land on their whole UI design. I personally like it a lot, but
I can see some of the complaints that people have with the use of color in the game. Mm-hmm. It's a little... I mean, like, it makes sense because you want to associate certain objectives with the color, mm-hmm. and especially when a game like that has way too many.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, the opposite could be said where actually the one horrible... let me go back to the worst interface was in Assassin's Creed Unity, where they just literally they vomited all over the map.
Yeah, Black Flag had that problem too. Assassin's Creed always has that problem.
Yeah, but in this game, at least within the beta, it seemed like it was manageable, and the way that they used their known way of doing interface with type on the back, like on the actual screen, as a HUD, and text. It reminds me of, like, wayfinding in an airplane or, like, an airport.
That'd be cool if it looked like that.
Well, because, I mean, like, you have all these wires and lines going everywhere and stuff, and, like, that's useful, especially with the use of text when you're on a street and it actually tells you, like, oh, this is level 12 to 14, mm-hmm. and you can tell, like, obviously, oh, if I'm a lower level, I'm not going to go here, and it shows up when you need to. It's not there the entire time.
Yeah, where when you walk in or when you leave. I thought that was really good. I really liked they had an aesthetic, and they really, really stuck to that aesthetic. There's no, like, this doesn't really fit with what they're trying to do here. Mm-hmm. Like, they always were very, like, all right, so we're doing orange. Orange is like our main color.
Yeah.
A very bright, like glowing orange, and that's like gonna be like as if it's a light, and it's gonna be like as if you're wearing Google Glass and you're walking around all the time, like that. And they stuck with that. Like everything is like that. All of the interface work is like that. Even your menu, when you're looking at your backpack and stuff, it all looks like that. And I think that as long as something is functional and consistent, then you're like solid.
Yeah.
Like if I can use it without trouble, then I'm happy about it.
I guess the three main colors that they use is orange, green, light green, and then that dark purple, right?
Yeah, it's like almost blue. I think it's like almost like a yeah.
And I guess within those three colors, they're so drastic that it kind of throws you off because it feels like there's a ton of colors.
Yeah.
But I guess the other opposing statement could be said where if you use very similar colors that complement each other, then you might not even be able to notice the difference between them at all.
Yeah, you might just do all the objectives without realizing.
Yeah.
Like if like 3 different shades of blue or something, it's like you're not gonna know that this is what this objective is and this is what that objective is.
Yeah. And
that could be a big issue. I'm sure these are all things they tossed around and talked about. You know, like
I'm sure there was months and months of discussion of what color choices to use.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would stick out on this city skyline, and what are you gonna notice when this happens? I'm sure it was not an easy decision for people to make. You know, as a UI designer, are you like often included in meetings that are things like pricing plans? Like, are you included in all of the decision meetings, or is it kind of like just what involves your section?
Just mostly my section, yeah.
Yeah, so like, for example, we talked about the division last week. If they were doing something like we're gonna do DLC, and we're gonna talk about how we're gonna structure that out and like bonus kind of stuff. You wouldn't really. That's not a thing you'd be involved in because that you just make the menus of it. It's not really meant for you.
I mean, like the only thing that would be relating to that would be if anything had to be created, like the store interface, maybe. Okay. Then I would be involved, but in terms of like setting any of those up, that would be way out of my hand.
Yeah, exactly. Like Assassin's Creed,
$100 everything. If it was my choice.
Guys, make everything $100.
Let's make this rain.
I want a bonus. Make it happen. Yeah, so like Assassin's Creed would involve you a lot because every like sub menu has a store menu that you would need to be designed. Like, oh, this is the Ubisoft Play Store. This is the Assassin's Creed online store. This is the connecting to the PlayStation Network. This is the store when you go buy stuff with in-game currency.
Well, I'm assuming them being such a huge conglomerate. Yes. They probably have various different studios working on each of those. That you wouldn't really be seeing one designer designing throughout like Uplay or like Watch Dogs. And
definitely,
Assassin's Creed kind of thing.
But like Assassin's Creed has those like they have the in-game store when you buy stuff with real money, like DLC packs, and that's a different store menu. And then there's the store menu when you buy like weapons with your currency in game. Like those are the same menu style, and they're in the same game. So I wonder if like they're probably still different teams doing it because there's so many teams working on Assassin's Creed since it's come out yearly. It's ridiculous.
I'm so glad this year they're taking a break.
Yeah, right.
Every year since 2009.
We've had an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
More than one, some years.
What? Now I'm forgetting which studio is trying to do the annual thing now.
Which trying to make annual games?
Yeah.
Oh man. Is it not Ubisoft still does it?
Yeah, Ubisoft. Need for Speed kind of just took a break.
Yeah, they got smart.
Not sure if they're gonna come out with one this year.
I hope not, to be honest. Like this one wasn't very well received.
Wow, now I'm coming into a blank for that.
I don't know.
There's some studio. Someone's trying to make their franchise an annual title.
I respect Ubisoft though. They've always been honest about that. They're like, listen, we make games and we're gonna make them all the time. That's our model, so get used to it. As much as I don't like it, I'm like, at least they're honest about it.
It's weird though, because they kind of just started doing the whole like, let's just pull the trigger and announce it really early, literally a month or two after our previous title came out.
I think they learned. I don't think it's announced.
Oh well, I guess Syndicate was like
Kotaku breaks it every time. They're just like, just kidding, the Assassin's Creed game. It's like, guys, can we like lock our emails down? Like, can we write letters or something? This is getting ridiculous. How does this happen? Who is telling them? Like.
Maybe, I don't know, some employee.
Some disgruntled employee?
Yeah, probably.
How many disgruntled employees do they have?
Either that, or someone's trying to, not get a job.
Or did someone sneak in, like other studios have happened to them?
Oh, no. Oh, no, you want to talk about this now, don't you?
So, you guys had an incident.
I'm not talking about this. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna pull that Fifth Amendment thing, even though this is Canada. Can't talk about it. That's an internal thing.
It's a serious...
Let's just say we have dedicated fans.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Hey, if you want to get in, you just have to ask kindly.
Yeah, would you
speak
please?
To the right channel?
Come on, let me in. Fine. You're within a security escort. You cannot go in these 3 rooms. Blindfolds for every other room.
We'll do a TSA style
sign
checks.
these papers.
No, what do you call it? Cavity search.
Oh man, jeez. I'm so glad I didn't have to do that.
Not that you know.
That's for later tonight. It's Valentine's Day. What's wrong with you? Why would you do that?
What?
Cavity searches?
Fine. Can you take a smell of this?
No. You know what chloroform smells like?
It smells like this. Drops on the floor.
This is my podcast now. Stefano seems to be unconscious. Beyond. Stop pimping someone else's podcast on my thing.
Okay, comedy button.
It's still someone else's podcast.
Three red lights. That's not an existing one.
If you want to sponsor me, IGN, I would gladly join your team and be a podcast for you. Sounds good. I mean, forget these guys. It's just me. It's fine. I'm better than most of them.
Well, if they're hiring a UI designer over there,
hey,
definitely. You just got to be willing to move to San Francisco.
Are they going to pay me enough to live in San Francisco?
I don't know.
2 very different things.
That's also true, right? Because the only people who are working or that are able to live there are anyone who lives in or works in the tech industry, right?
Yep. Because you have to make $100,000 and up to live in a house there. Because of course. So
you're gonna live in the Tenderloin.
I'm gonna live in Colin and Greg's basement. I'm gonna live in Max Scoville's basement. Yeah. Like he has 3 other people living there. It's fine.
Hear this comedy button? He wants to live there.
Hire him. He's got this. Me and you went to the same. Me, you, and everyone else that's actually on this podcast all went to the same college. You're a year ahead of us. Do you feel like... This is an alumni question. Do you feel like the school prepared you for anything that you're doing at all right now?
Actually, yeah. You know what? For the second half of this program, when we really played around with a lot of interface or interactive design, that really helped a lot. I mean, it doesn't help that we're working on Flash, right? Slowly. Well, it might as well be dead at this point. But the one thing that was really helpful for my job was the fact that they were still teaching Flash.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the format that a lot of the industry uses currently. Not sure what's going to happen
in a year.
Let's say a decade.
You think it's going to take that long?
I feel like it. I don't know.
I don't know, man, because they're coming out with Adobe Animate now, which is it's essentially Flash.
It's Flash, but they repurposed it for the intent of using it for HTML5 and other web formats.
I don't think what you do will ever be changed by them getting rid of Flash, because the way Adobe works is that all their interfaces pretty much work the same.
I guess the only way you could really change it would be if you designed your game engine to use something else. Yeah. But if you use something else, it has to be a standard for the design industry. Yeah. Because if it's some proprietary thing, it's going to fall apart.
This reminds me, actually, it's funny you say that we were talking about this. This reminds me of, I was listening to a different podcast, don't judge me, but it was a kind of funny podcast where Steve Gaynor was talking about how he got started in the industry, and he was talking about how he used to make levels in the level creator for Fear. And he got hired because he specifically already knew how to make levels with their engine. And so, if he was fucking around on something like Unreal or something, he wouldn't have known how to use their engine. And he probably would never have gotten a job and would never be Steve Gaynor. He would never have worked for about it. And it's so cool. Something so specific like that got him a job in the industry and, career launched him. And, it's similar. You wouldn't think Flash would be as important as it is, considering, in our industry...
Yeah, especially in the design industry. It's
hated.
Totally
Everyone hates it.
well, especially considering how like a lot of the web formats are moving away from Flash, that no, there's really no use for it.
Yeah.
But in design, or at least in gaming, Flash is still alive and prevalent.
Yeah, and so like learning that really it like catapulted. You could have been like, well, fuck Flash, I don't want to learn it or whatever. Like me. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I didn't really think I was gonna.
Yeah.
Right. The traditional output of
you learned it more than I did.
What, Flash?
Yeah, you guys learned more than I did. You guys did do more cool stuff with it. I think.
Yeah, but the flip side is you actually learn After Effects, which is something
learned is a pretty much of a stretch. I mean, it was well taught to me, but
first, you know way more than I do.
That's true.
All right. I actually tried to open up After Effects a few weeks ago.
How'd that go?
Oh man, what a disaster!
I've never edited a video. It's not that hard, I don't think.
It's not hard, but when you have the mindset like I do with Flash, or if you're using what was the other one? Adobe, not Muse. I don't know which Adobe.
Edge.
I think so. Yeah, Edge, and they
Edge Animate.
Yeah, they work very similar.
Flash and Edge are pretty much the same program. That's why now they're one. They now just animate.
Yeah. So it's like both those programs, that's my workflow. So trying to open up After Effects and I'm just like, where's the... I know there's a timeline, but how do I put my assets onto the timeline?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about the way you guys work, from what you told me, is it's very WYSIWYG, right? Like, very what you see is what you get. Like, there's no back-end coding and stuff.
Well,
I'm sure there is, but like,
it's
very Flash,
minimal.
So it's not like complicated, but like, most of what you're doing is WYSIWYG, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's helpful, I think, in a sense that you just know how to make things work in that interface, and so like no matter what happens to Adobe Flash or whatever, you'll always be able to use programs that look similar. Yeah, which is definitely helpful. I feel like because if it was just like HTML5 now, good luck. Try and code this menu because that's all you got. And it's like no way, like it's not gonna happen. You'd be screwed.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like totally our school definitely gave us the right amount of being able to explore all volumes of the design industry, right? It's print, websites, interactive.
Yeah. I always heard, like, I'm not going to bash other schools, even though I want to. But, like, from what I hear about other schools and stuff is that the beginning years, they seem to really focus on, like, handmade, hand-drawn stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that is a waste of time. You're wasting your time doing that. At least in that, if you're going to be a designer, you're not. Like,
well, if they're still going through like traditional print, then it's still valuable.
Yeah, but you're never gonna have to make
like a book,
like by hand. Like we had to do that briefly for like a day.
Yeah, that was
one class. Yeah,
that was like a couple of days.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it took forever. But like, it wasn't a bulk of our learning. Like that was just to teach us what it was. But we were still learning while we were doing that computer stuff, right? Yeah. And I think back on that stuff, and even like the way we learn. I have a few of my interviews I went to get jobs and like placements. They're like, I don't know why they bothered teaching you coding at all. He's like, if they weren't going to teach you coding 100%, he's like, there's no point. Yeah. It's like now all you're doing is you have this website you created only using code, and it looks like ass. Yeah. Because you don't know how to code well enough to make it look as good as you can design. So now you have a website that you're showing people that isn't. This is before we would have used news, right? So like, now you have a website that doesn't look like your full ability to design because you have to work within your ability to code things. And they're like, there's no point in doing that. Like, you're better off making mock-ups and stuff like that.
I think that's the one thing where it's not, as a graphic designer, you can't just learn that. And especially, I think we're all finding out by that, is that if you want to actually land a job, you gotta learn code.
If you want to land a well-paying job, you gotta learn code.
Yeah, because
or at least know how to read it.
It's just not enough to be a designer.
I mean,
like it's still there, but
it all depends where you're looking. You know, like I think smaller places want you to do both because they don't have the money or time to hire more than one person.
But I feel like that's prevalent.
Yeah, like I went to a place actually. I went to an interview in a place in Brampton, and they're really nice people and everything like that. And they had a coder there, like. But he coded in like straight code sheets, like not even in Dreamweaver. Like, so to get a job there, I would have had to understand how to read code. Yeah. To design for it. I honestly don't know if that's necessarily true. I think I just need to give him mock-ups, be like, make it look like this. Yeah. But
if the studio has someone dedicated to that,
they have one coder or a few coders, but they were only like their site was only coded. There was no design to be spoken of. Like it looked like a coding website. Like it was a disaster. Great people, great place. Weren't gonna pay me enough. They only wanted to give me $13 an hour. I was like, I need to pay rent. Sorry, dude. I'm the only graphic designer here. I should get $21 at least an hour.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like no, yeah. I need to pay rent. But like it's just one of those things where you don't think you'll need it because you're taught so specifically. And I feel like we could have used that time focusing more on design principles and have been better designers for it, rather than fragmenting our learning process by learning things that we don't necessarily need to know.
Yeah.
Like they could have like extended that to a 4-year program, have the 4th year just be like, this is a year of coding. Now we have to learn that. Like I think that'd be a good way to do it. Like 3-year design principles and apply design principles to a coding segment. That'd be a good structure for like a 4-year program. But I guess there's probably reasons they don't do that. I can't imagine or know what they are, but I'm not a...
I think it's more of you might as well just take the other program for that.
So Seneca's like, I want your money for the other program.
Yeah, like probably. I don't know.
Well, you could just charge more. Like, joint program with yours.
Why add a little bit more to it when we could just get their money full price?
That's annoying.
A program that we actually have that's dedicated for it.
That would have been so good though, man, because like, we'd be so much better off. Yeah. Instead of fragmenting your thought process like that.
Oh, it's totally a different thought process. So it's learning a different language.
It's not that complicated of a language, specifically, but it's complicated enough to where I'm just like, what?
It's very interesting whenever I'm like trying to edit something in Warframe, and I'm just and I have to actually go into the code. I'm just like, oh, I'm definitely a designer. I don't know any code.
You're just like, excuse me, somebody.
Someone.
Anybody find
But that's
me?
why there's dedicated people for that.
Yeah, like coders get paid more. I don't like that they do. It annoys me actually a little bit.
Does it?
But I mean, I get it kind of. I think it's dumb. I don't get it. I don't.
You can make you can make anything survive or work when code.
Yeah, but now that Muse is here, I don't need you. Like to make a website that's functional and like looks okay. Like it'll always look better if you have both.
Yeah.
But my website on Muse will look better than your just coder person website.
That's true. Because they don't have the design fundamentals.
Mine might not function a little bit as well as you do, but it's going to look good enough to where you're not going to notice.
It may not function as flawlessly as yours, and you can do all those cool little tricks to make it really flashy, but by the end of the day, if the user experience in it is just the hot street trash, then no one's going to want to go on it.
Exactly. So it's like... They get paid more because their work is a little bit more like mentally complicated as far as like a traditional sense is considered. But I don't want to say not necessary, but their job to create something that is for a client a finished product that's well enough, I feel like is equal to ours. Not less or more.
Okay, so let me do a flip side then. So would a poorly or a really wonderfully executed design website, or just anything, but it just functions like complete ass, do you think it would still be the same?
No, it wouldn't.
Because it's also, like, that's a whole user experience, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
if the experience is absolutely horrible, then...
No, you're right.
That might be...
But thankfully we live in a world where we have programs that will code well enough to make the experience good.
Yeah.
Not great, not stellar, but good. Muse doesn't do responsive very well.
You can't program good design.
Yeah. But you can design okay programming.
Yeah.
Like, or at least automate it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that design's more important. I'm saying that they should be treated equally.
Yeah.
Whereas, unfortunately, they're not. Which is very frustrating for someone trying to get a job. Trust me.
Oh, I know.
I know you do.
You and amongst many of my peers are struggling with this very same statement. I used to do that as well for a couple of months.
Yeah, well, now you're in the big bucks. You're working for...
I finally... what's the saying? Once you get your foot in the door, that door is completely open.
It's because you just rip it open, just rip it off.
Yeah, no. If it was like, oh, hey, the door was a little bit open, I just sprinted through.
Broke through with your shoulder. It was fine.
Yeah. That was the one thing that I probably thought about for the longest time was, my God, how hard it is after college.
I'm like, yeah, I'm done college. I'll just apply to a few places, boppity boopity, get a job. No big deal. Nope.
I think that's the common problem with a lot of recent graduates is that they think they can get a job within the next couple of months after.
Because we paid $5,000 a year to get into to finish this thing.
Yeah.
God forbid I think I should work.
Yeah.
And want to contribute to society in some way. How dare I? What's wrong with me, Mark? What is the matter? Yeah. I'm a terrible human. Like, it's crazy.
It's hard. Keep trying to push you to apply to all the studios in Montreal.
That's why I want to move to Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal.
Listen, I got people that need to come with me. That it's not exactly easy to convince to go to a colder place than we already live in to get a job, in a place that doesn't speak my language.
That's fine. You can learn.
It's not weird enough for her to go from America to here.
That's fine.
Let's bring her to the non-English speaking part of Canada.
Just do it.
And I'll be so far away from you.
Just throw her in the deep end of Canada.
I'll be so far away from you, Mark. Come on.
I'm already far away from you.
Yeah, but even further. That's like 8 hours away from you.
That's fine.
That's not fine. That's sad. That makes me sad. Yeah, I don't know.
I need to hook you up with another studio.
Yeah, you gotta get me going. Yeah. Come on, man. Where's your hookups? Call up Ubisoft. I know you know those guys.
I know a few of them.
Isn't all the studios the same? I thought that's how that works.
It's a tiny industry. I'll tell you that for sure.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's why you can't do anything bad or else word travels.
That's fair. I'm gonna definitely try not to do that. I don't know what I could do bad, but I mean, whatever.
I don't know. You could leak stuff.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to make sure you don't.
Trying to. You just almost tried to make me blabble about something.
No, all I said was that sucked. That's all I said, and it did. That was a shitty thing. It was that story was already leaked. I didn't have to tell nobody about that. That was already on the internet for a long time. That's old. Let's say no surprisingness here. So, what game are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, it would have to be a toss-up between Quantum Break and Mirror's Edge.
Ugh.
Why?
You would.
What?
Mirror's Edge is like one of those games that is like everyone loved but no one bought.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, remember that game that everyone liked? That was a really good game. Yes. By the way, no one fucking bought it.
This time, I'm gonna make sure I buy 10 copies.
So I'm getting a third one. I'm getting a third one.
I want another one. I'm sorry. I just need to make that game live. It's still real to me, damn it.
It's real to me, damn it. If it plays like Dying Light, if it has any kind of like parkour control like Dying Light it had, I'll be pretty pleased.
Why, you didn't like the original game?
I didn't really play it, but I just felt like it was a little more clunky than I would have liked.
It was clunky.
It's old though.
Yeah.
It's not their fault, but the first time I did anything like that.
I feel like they probably streamlined it enough that it flows nicely. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I'm glad that they took out gun mechanics, even though I know a friend who loves to shoot up that game.
Really?
Even though it's totally not.
I hated that part of that game.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, they did take that out, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm glad, because I just want to run.
You know what I liked about that game? When I saw it, it reminded me of Mark Echo's... Getting Up. Or, no, it was called something else, wasn't it?
Content Under Pressure.
Yeah, that's it, yeah, Under Pressure.
Well, that game had such a long name. It was Mark Echo's...
Getting Up, Content Under Pressure, or something like that.
Oh my god, that name is
But it was such a good game, like... The idea, like the premise, it wasn't actually a good game, but like,
no,
you were just like...
It was totally flawless, but, what am I saying? Flawless.
Well, it
was flawed. It was totally flawed.
But I liked that time of that time of video games was like...
You can't get a game like that to come out.
No, never again.
There is no way.
That was like the Tony Hawk and the Grand Theft Auto was a big, like, Grand Theft Auto was always big, but that was when they were releasing so many Grand Theft Autos, and the Warriors came out. Like, it was a very specific time in the world. Yeah, it was such a... I love that.
Especially like the game mechanics for that game, because you had... It reminded me of Jet Set Radio with the graffiti, but like they did it more realistic rather than just like tapping to spray it and it would just show up on the wall. Where
you had to
actually spray it and actually shake the can too.
Like Second Son.
I didn't play.
Oh man, Second Son, they had a mechanic with the 6-axis.
Oh, okay.
So you.
Oh yeah, that's
you
right.
do this. I'm as if this is a video podcast.
Yeah,
you can see me moving my hand.
He's jerking me off right now.
God. You're never coming on this show again.
Beyond. on.
Oh, stop.
Is it? Do you guys have a phrase that I could just shout?
No, not yet. We gotta think of one.
Damn it.
I think we should. I think I'm changing the name of this podcast to Ramble On, or like Rambling Man, because we just have not talked about a single thing, like for a short time.
No.
That needs to be like what it's called.
Fine, I'll just answer in one word.
No, please don't. I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
Damn it. So yeah, that's what Mirror's Edge reminds me of. The moment I saw that game when it first came out, I was like, man, this is just like Constant Under Pressure. I love that game.
So gorgeous.
Mirror's Edge?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very stylized.
They did. Well, I mean, like, that's the engine, right? Frostbite looks gorgeous on any game. Except for Need for Speed. For some weird reason, they don't.
You don't like the way it looks? I thought Need for Speed looks good.
I don't know. If you look at, like, Dragon Age and the previous Need for Speed and all the Battlefield and the Star Wars, the way that they use the assets in those games look gorgeous, but for some weird reason, I feel like I'm playing just a really high, like, polished, like, last-gen title.
I get what you mean. It's like this weird, like, it looks better, but it doesn't look better enough.
Yeah.
For me to be like, this is awesome. Whereas I look at games like
Witcher,
I look at games like The Order. Like, as much as The Order is like a flawed, like, it's boring. It's a boring game. That game looks like it looks great. If you sold me that game for $40, I'd have been a happy guy. But you sold me a really boring 8-hour game for $80, and I was like,
that's really unfortunate. That was boring. I'll probably still try to pick it up.
Like, it wasn't the time length of the game. Like, that never bothered me. It's that it's essentially a rail shooter. That's the part that bugs me.
Oh.
Like, so you go through set piece to set piece. You can only get certain types of guns because they make you switch your gun out.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm using this gun. It's really fun. Nope, just kidding. Give me that back. You can't get it. So it's like as if you played, like, a on-rail shooter version of Gears of War.
Oh, man. Gears. Hope that comes out this year.
It should. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm looking forward to that.
The Division. Oh, my gosh.
I'm iffy on it. I'm not too excited for it.
I'm so excited.
I mean,
like, and I say that warily.
And I feel, and it's the same problem that Ubi has with them announcing games way too early and those same games not coming out like years later.
I'm excited about what they're doing. With Watch Dogs, they're not talking about it, and I'm sure they're going to announce it.
I'm glad they're smart with that.
What games do you think are going to get announced this summer that will be coming out immediately?
When does Doom come out?
I don't know. I think it's supposed to come out this year.
Right?
Soon, yeah.
Yeah, it's like before E3. I don't know. It depends on the publisher, to be honest, if you look at their track record.
So Bethesda's having another...
Do they?
Another conference on E3. What do you think they're going to even say?
What?
I'm thinking Wolfenstein 2.
They still have Dishonored, right?
Yeah. I think Dishonored comes out this year.
But when? They didn't say a release date, did they?
They never did.
No, they just said it exists.
Yeah, and they released Definitive Edition. I feel like there's a reason for that.
Yeah, because it has to come out soon.
I think they show gameplay and it comes out, like, if not this year, early next year, like February, March.
I feel like it would be this year.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that would be the most comfortable time slot for them. I mean, like, considering that's probably, like, the earliest they've ever announced the title ever.
Well, Fallout. But earliest, sorry, yes.
Earliest without releasing.
My bad. Sorry, I misunderstood your point.
Right, because Fallout was a perfect storm for that.
Yeah, and it ruined Tomb Raider, which made me mad. I liked Fallout, but I liked Tomb Raider better, and it got destroyed.
That was a weird timing.
They were screwed no matter what they did.
Yeah, I mean...
You go too long, you're running into, like Call of Duty and stuff like that. You go too early, you're running into your own... Halo comes out. Yeah,
because Microsoft, especially since they were the publisher, they purposely intently released games, or at least their first-party titles. First, I'm putting air quotations in Tomb Raider, but first-party titles each month, right? Because August... Actually, no, there's 2 for August. It was both Gears of War and Rare Replay. September was Forza.
I don't think they expected Rare Replay to be what it was.
It was only for the fans.
Yeah, and it was even more popular than they thought, I think.
Well, it was a great price, $30 for 30 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, Halo was October, and then November.
And then it was
Tomb Raider.
And then it was Call of Duty.
There was a ton of games.
Yeah.
Coming out. Like there was probably like almost every week there's a major AAA title coming out.
Yeah, probably. That's always the case for that time of year.
Yeah.
Do you think Last Guardian comes out this year? It has to, I think.
Do you want my
honest answer?
My honest answer? I don't know. I'm gonna jokingly say that it's gonna take them another 10 years. There will be, Stefano, I'm sorry, but there's going to be an anniversary trailer for when they originally announced that game.
Oh, stop.
At the Sony conference. The 10-year anniversary.
That hurts me so much.
And then they'll say it's coming out next year, we promise.
How about Final Fantasy 15?
15. I don't know. Square's release timing is weird. They keep announcing new Final Fantasy titles, and they never
come out. Well, I know they're having another beta.
For the
like this Duske, another version of that.
I don't know. They're weird. They're very unpredictable when
you never know.
Games.
It could never come out.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Who knows? They're still working on the same game since
13.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And never mind. Number 7's never gonna come out.
No?
Remember the story I heard when Final Fantasy 7 got announced? The game's director was like, "Man, I'm on this game." Crap.
That's hilarious.
He had no idea he was the director of the game when they announced that he's the director of the game. He's like,
goes
to
show
shit.
They announced it way too prematurely.
But then they had to change up their direction. Like, crap, we announced this way too early. Okay, we know what we're gonna do. We're just gonna make it episodic because that makes sense.
Yeah, just like Hitman.
Stop. Oh my god. Because you had success with Life is Strange one time does not mean you can make every game you own episodic. Like, stop it.
Okay, so you're in the same camp as I guess most people who aren't really too thrilled with that.
You know what though? I think with Hitman it would make sense.
Yeah.
That's a game I think can make sense with episodic.
Yeah.
Because if you make the hits a long enough period, like 2 hours for one hit,
yeah,
that could be cool.
Well, because on top of that too, I think what really lends itself well with the episodic format for that game is that it's open. It's open, right? There's a little sandbox for the mission, and you can assassinate the target any way you want. Or at least I hope it's still that. It's not like Absolution where it was a linear story.
Yes.
Because if it's like that and it's episodic, then you're going to have problems. Because people aren't going to be too thrilled with that. Especially the hardcore Hitman fans.
Yeah, those games have changed a lot since hardcore Hitman fans like them, though. They're nowhere near what they were. They're a shadow of their former selves, really.
Yeah. Same thing with, some could say with Splinter Cell.
Yeah, but I think they're back to form with Blacklist.
And I feel like that would be the same way for Hitman, at least with this title.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
What else? What else is coming out next year? What else is worth talking about?
This year?
There's a lot of stuff coming out this year. Maybe right this year, my apologies.
Next year. I wish Mass Effect was coming out this year.
I want to see a trailer so bad.
I want gameplay.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah.
I don't want any more. Hey, here's some pre-production stuff. Hey, here's a very.
I want a release date. Give me a release date. That's all I want. And they're good about hitting their release dates. Pretty good, at least.
They're another studio, or at least when they switched CEOs, they were another studio that announced games way too early and not actually have them released.
Like what?
That Criterion title with the extreme sports. Mass Effect was another one because they kept showing it the last couple
game was
years.
So good.
What?
Oh, Mass Effect. I love that game so much.
Yeah, we both love that.
I know. That's why we're friends.
Yeah.
Why does I hate you?
That's why I named my puppy
Tally. Vas America. Oh man, Tally Zora.
Yeah.
Oh, that dog is way too cute.
Yeah, this podcast can totally see that. Actually, you can.
Just follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll pimp that out later at the end of this podcast.
So I guess is there anything anything you didn't expect? Back to the point of what our topic was asking you about the industry. Is there anything that you found while working there that you didn't expect? They're like, oh, I can't believe this is like this. You were always pretty in tune with how the industry worked even before. That's why you decided to work there.
Yeah, I was kept up. But
is there anything that was like, wow, I can't believe this is how this works kind of thing? Or is it kind of part of the course of what you expected?
I don't know. I can't. There's some things I can't talk about with that answer. The only thing I can say is that there was a few things where I was totally surprised how things worked behind the scenes.
Okay.
That you would never notice as
practice,
consumer, right?
All right.
Other
That's
than
fair.
that, I'm not going.
So I have a question.
Hmm?
Do you guys Do you know anyone that talks about like the process of getting platinums for games, stuff like that? Like what that kind of stuff goes into for
like achievements?
Yeah, achievements and platinums, stuff like
I
that.
have no idea.
Because I heard recently on a kind of funny podcast that the guy who makes Firewatch is talking about, because they're complaining to him because you know how much they love their trophies over there at XIGN boys and their trophy hunting ways.
Okay. They're
talking about why the fuck isn't there platinum? Like you have 5 achievements, like what the hell?
Yeah.
And he's like, you guys don't understand how difficult it is to get PlayStation to approve a platinum. He's like, we're only a 4-hour game, $20. We're considered a budget game, and so to get a platinum for a game that's that long is like you have to like really, really in gear beg them for a platinum.
Huh. I actually didn't hear about that story because I always wondered like why certain titles didn't have the platinum.
Yeah,
because in terms of like consistency, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, because not every game has a platinum. Yeah. Not every game even has 100%.
Yeah.
And I think it was funny because Greg, he was complaining. He's like, Taco Master has a platinum. It's a port from an iPhone game. And he's like, the guy's like, you're right. He's like, well, why did you buy Taco Master? And he's like, because it has a platinum. And he's like, exactly, that's why it has a platinum. Because the only people that are going to buy that game are people that want a platinum. And he's like, that's why they have to beg. They need people to buy the game. They know.
That's a little weird, though, considering the pedigree for Firewatch, right? Like, all the hype for that game. You'd think they would have some leverage.
They didn't see the point.
Yeah.
They all came from Walking Dead, right? Telltale?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Caposano, those 2 guys are from Telltale. They made the original Walking Dead season 1. So if you like that at all, which I know you did, then
enjoyed it.
There's also...
I didn't think it was Game of the Year.
So they were telling a story. I'm going to quote... This is a quote from the guy who made the game. Like, I don't want to steal it, but it made me laugh. Do you remember that really shitty movie, Kangaroo Jack?
Yes.
Do you remember the sweater he wears?
Yes.
Clementine wears that sweater.
Are you fucking kidding me?
There's an Easter egg in the sweater you give Clementine. You find in the station wagon is the Easter egg from Kangaroo Jack.
Oh my god, that horrible movie.
Yeah.
Who would remember that? That's so. I would say it's obscure, but it's not really. I mean, maybe if you weren't born when that movie was out.
That's so funny. I heard that when he said that on the pod, I was laughing. I was that's amazing. Who references that shitty movie? The
one thing I will say about behind the scenes and it's not from my studio, but like I've heard stories about and it's obviously like Easter eggs that you would find that developers would put into the game, but there's a ton of hidden secrets in certain games. Like I heard there was this one story that was told for me in Dragon Age Inquisition where there is no way as a regular player to access this one area.
Mm-hmm.
But literally, there is a room filled with a bunch of NPCs, and I don't remember what was the purpose for this room, but like it was just there. It was under one of the levels, and it's just there.
Why?
It just exists.
It's for fun. Like if you get there, you'll see it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's fun little tidbits like that, where as a dev, you can actually see this stuff, but you would never be able to see it as a regular user.
Wow.
Stuff like that.
Apparently, in Firewatch, one of the books, because you can find books around the apartment that you're like the tower you're in. There's a book that is from the Gone Home. Like the books your dad writes in Gone Home. Yeah. They reference that book in the game. I'm like, that's awesome.
That's the one thing that's really not used often in games. Developer commentary.
Yeah, I'm actually like, I think Steve
Gaynor
is like one of the coolest dudes in video games. Like that dude is so chill. I tweeted him saying how much I loved the game. He tweeted me back. Like he's kind of a big deal in the video game industry. Like he took the time to tweet me back. I was like, that's awesome. Like you're a chill dude.
But I can see why it's difficult to put things like that in there because it kind of ruins the pacing of the game a lot.
Yeah, you have to offer it for post game probably. Like after you beat the game, this is a thing you can have. But
not a lot of games where they kind of just push you forward. You can't really do that, especially if the commentators are like just on a rant for the longest time. Then it's just like, oh my god, I can't do anything right now. I'm standing here.
Yeah,
because you're talking still.
that was funny. He was saying how like a lot of the family portraits are his wife's family because they have the right demographic of people in their family.
Nice.
So like they're just painted over pictures of his family.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. Like, there's so much cool shit that you learn about stuff like that.
Yeah, like wouldn't you want to know what certain things or certain scenes meant to like the popular devs or something?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just like some people. Some of them are just like super cool. Like a lot of the PlayStation guys are really cool. I really like Neil Druckmann. That dude seems like a cool dude. That Steve Gunner's a cool dude. Ken Levine's probably kind of a dick, but also a cool dude at the same time. I feel like like that artsy dude is kind of a dick, but like also is kind of nice. And Cliff Bleszinski reminds me like the dude who like he's a nerd, but he's also a douchebag, like dude bro.
Really.
The dude, like, come on, like he's like the nerd on the football team. That's like Cliff Bleszinski. Like
he was the popular guy within all the cliques.
Yeah, like he's friends with everybody. Like probably a nice guy, but you could see like he likes to rile you up.
Yeah,
and you can just step out on his Twitter. Like he just trolls everyone. It's so funny. I love looking during E3. It's like my favorite thing ever. It makes me laugh so hard.
All right, let me ask you one question, and
Sure.
you can't ask me in reverse because that would just be weird. But if there was one studio that you could land a job at,
I get why I couldn't ask you that then.
Yeah.
One studio where I could land a job at and work, and then make games, right?
Like you can be their designer over there.
My easy answer would be either CD Projekt Red or BioWare.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about it, and this isn't a cop out, even though I just talked about them.
Yeah.
But I'd want it to be a smaller studio, I think.
Yeah.
So like
that's not a cop out answer.
Like Fulbright or like Capo Santo. Like I think, like first of all, those dudes just seem like they're cool.
Yeah.
But they're smaller, so you work on the whole game together, and I think that would be fun. I wouldn't want I wouldn't want to work for a big design firm. I wouldn't want to work for and feel like a cog in the machine. Like this is all you do, and like and you're in that where you work. It's cool because it's like a middle ground. Like it's like like it's big. But it's also like everyone still kind of knows each other. Everyone's still like it's it's big enough where like job security and stuff is solid, but it's like not so big that you're just like you're like Ubisoft and you're like the one team of 10,000 is working on this game. You know what I mean?
Oh, what do you mean? There's 2 other studios working on this. I have to video conference them to talk about
exactly.
Whatever.
Like I want to be able to lean over like. When I hear them talk about developing Gone Home, like just look over. Hey man, what do you think of this? No, all right, cool. Like that would be awesome. I would hate to have to like set up a meeting just to talk about one stupid thing that I want to do.
I don't know. That's the way the guys at Chivalry did it.
That's because they were small team split apart.
Yeah.
Right, and even they didn't like it. They got the money, and they're like, "Let's be together because it makes life way easier," you know. And I definitely think that like that's my preferred way to work. Like. I could have called you in for this, but I waited till you were in town to do this interview because, like, I prefer that.
It's not. It wouldn't be the same.
Exactly. And it's Valentine's Day, so romantic.
Yeah. Intimate interview.
And yes, intimate interviews with Steph and Mark. That's what we're calling this.
Oh man, I should have started off with, for the duration of this interview, I should take a piece of clothing off and you try to put them back on.
With my mouth.
No, that's what? Oh god.
Oh god.
I'm never coming back.
The line, you know it. You're never leaving.
Exactly. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna never come back.
Never.
I'm gonna go as far away as possible.
London? I can get there. I've been there before.
That's not London. No, I meant somewhere else. I'll just run.
All right. Well, anything else you'd like to ask or talk about specifically?
There was one, and then I lost it.
Oh no, Mark, get it back.
Shoot, I don't know.
Come on, you got this.
There was something I wanted to talk to you about. Now I don't know it.
Do you remember what we were talking about when you thought of it?
No.
Was it recent?
That we were discussing it? No.
Has to do something with me personally?
No.
Okay.
Something about the industry, and I completely forgot about it.
God, Mark.
I'm sorry.
You're never coming back again. You're the worst.
Where's the water?
Okay.
What does it smell like?
Stop trying to chloroform me on my podcast. It's not okay. You cannot pass me out.
Oh.
Make me pass out, rather. Not okay. We need to talk about this. It's not okay to chloroform people.
Alright, what's up? You know what? Actually, I'll just fall under the what were we talking about, or what you guys were talking about last episode at your podcast?
The Division?
Yeah. So about everything being all bundled up.
Yeah, like
in full release.
Okay, yeah.
So I think from a developer perspective, at least from what I've known this far, is that a game like that where it's an ongoing game, right? Like you want users to continuously play it.
Yeah.
You want to be able to give content, or at least new content, to long-time players.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, look at Destiny, where it's the opposite, where people ran out of content way too early, and they just got that huge backlash.
Yeah, there's spurts of content in that game. It doesn't.
I mean, like, it's all a matter of scheduling, and if they time it right and they give enough content, which I hope they do, right? Because if it's not, then that's also gonna be a waste of time again.
Yeah, as long as they give me. Sorry to interrupt your point, but like my main problem with Destiny wasn't that necessarily there wasn't enough content. It was that the content they provided me at launch was just boring and the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
You can give me like 8 hours of a solid amount of gameplay that is like not the same things repeated over and over again. I will be happy to stop there and just be grateful for everything else you give me after that. You know what I mean? But if you're gonna be like, here's 8 hours of gameplay where you're going through the same levels, cycling through them over and over and over again, with slight story snippets, and we promise you a fully open world when you barely have a small sandbox to work in.
Yeah,
it's like you lied, like you lied to my face about what this game would be.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's also the same with the one thing that I'm glad that the industry is moving towards right now is with multiplayer portions of their games where they're actually making the maps free as an ongoing thing rather than, you know, fragmenting your audience for the people who bought the game and then the people who bought like the season pass for the DLC maps separately, because then now you have this audience that can't play together, or like at least with friends where it's like, oh, I have it, I bought it, but then my friend's not a huge fan, so he didn't buy the map, so we can't play together, kind of thing.
Yeah, when you cut content around. Yeah. I like the way, I think Halo was the one that did it, where you could play together, you just couldn't. No, Halo did it badly, I think.
Which one?
Call of Duty I think did it right. Call of Duty did it right where you just can't load, you just won't load into those maps. Whereas Halo, you couldn't play game types because those game types relied on the maps.
Or we could talk about Destiny again, where literally
the entire game is gone if you don't have the new stuff.
Yeah, if you didn't buy Taken King, we'll lock out all the existing vanilla content.
That's dumb. Straight up, you fucked up. Like, that's stupid. Yeah. So, okay. My problem with the way Division was doing it, everything, I love the beta. Had a great time. Yeah. And I would like the way it gave me pieces of a story that I think if they like actually give me something, I'll like it. And I'll love it. But if I have to go into the Dark Zone and someone who paid an extra $40 at launch gets to have a better piece of equipment than I do, then that is when I have problems.
Yeah, because at that point, that becomes pay to win.
Exactly. At that point. Now, if you do something like you get these exclusive loot drops and they're only set to a specific level limit, like if you're this level when this loot drops, you will get the same type of guns that everyone else gets, same like damage and everything like that, but they look cooler. Yeah. But, you know, like, they're guns, but they're aesthetically different, and they have different names, they're different types of guns, but the damage is all the same. Then I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. If you want to pay $40 and get to have that stuff, then that's fine, because you're not better at playing the game now because of it. Yeah. You just paid extra, so you get extra. And I'm okay with that.
Another Ubisoft title that's doing, or somewhat balancing their, like, people who bought stuff and who didn't, is probably like in Rainbow Six Siege, where if you were a Season Pass purchaser, you would get all the content day one when they would be released. But if you didn't buy the stuff, you would have to wait an extra, like, a week before you were able to get those stuff. So it kind of rewards, like, it gives an incentive to be like, hey, you want to be a day one user for, like, these new, like, characters that you can use in the match? You got to buy the Season Pass. Or the other alternative would be you just wait, like, an extra 6 days. And that shouldn't be a problem, because it's not like...
6 days, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like it breaks the game, because you can still, even after that grace period, you as a vanilla user will be able to get that character. Yeah. You just have to pay, like, a little bit more because you didn't. Obviously.
Yeah, it's bundled together, so it's cheaper naturally. I think I don't see a problem with that kind of stuff. It's when it becomes like Battlefield Premium, where like you are getting better everything because you're a Battlefield Premium member and paying them, and that's like, I don't like pay to win games. They bug me, and I think it's not fair. And I don't think Ubisoft's the kind of company that would do that. Sure, they annualize games, but they're not going to cheat you out of your money. I
don't know. I've never did any of their microtransactions or whatever to really know.
Even like some Assassin's Creed, I've participated in a few of them. It's really doesn't even really help you in the game, really. Very minimally.
Especially recently too, right? Because it's either co-op or single player, and whatever you're spending on is just getting things faster.
Yeah.
Rather than
grinding it out.
Yeah.
And even then, like at some point in the game, when you want that stuff, you have so much abundance.
That might have been more of a problem when they still had multiplayer.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, actually, here's another topic that we can talk about in terms of like design wise is a lot of these games. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of games with card mechanics in there.
Card mechanics?
Yeah.
Like Tomb Raider?
Yeah, Tomb Raider, Halo, Forza.
I didn't know Halo had it.
Yeah, Halo has direct packs.
Oh, so like HUT, like FIFA FUT or whatever.
Yeah, but instead of like, and I guess Titanfall as well, a few years back, they also have it.
Yeah.
Gwent, which is a straight up actual card game.
Yeah, it's legitimate. Like it could be an app on my phone. I can play it. Like what? Do you not like them?
No, it's just interesting. It's just fascinating. That's a trend.
Like making virtual things of a physical thing.
Yeah, just trying to insert some sort of card mechanic in their games.
I guess it's just like they're trying to think of a way to like piecemeal collectibles and give you incentive to grind games out.
But it's just funny because if you go on YouTube and you look at any of these games that have card packs, you'll like the first results you'll see is someone spending like $300 to just do a card pack game, and it's just insane.
How about the Star Wars card collectible game on your app?
Yeah, there's that one too, right?
That's literally
a trading card game
virtually,
and there's an article like a couple of months back talking about that.
I think that's pretty dumb. Like, no offense to people who play it, like, good for you, but, like, I don't understand that.
It's dumb, but the way that the reason why it's gained popularity is because, obviously, card games are a physical thing, and you're only bound by your community, which is wherever you're living. But with the digital one, your only community is literally everyone in the world.
But how do you create that whole fun part about card getting the limited cards? Like, do you create like limited periods where you can get certain cards and like this is 10 minutes or like regional locking certain cards? Like, how do you do that? That's like almost impossible.
I'm not too sure. I don't remember.
And that's the fun part about card games or collectibles rather.
Well, there's the limited ones, but I think the addiction, or at least the enticement for continuing, is that you get free packs.
Oh, okay.
Right? So once you constantly do that, and obviously you can spend more if you really want to get even
spend
more cards.
lots of money.
Yeah.
I think maybe a cool way you could do it is having both.
What? Physical and?
Yeah, like...
So like amiibo style?
Yeah, like you get to... If you can trade like physical cards... No, how would you do trading though? Because you have the physical card. That wouldn't work. Never mind. I fucked up. Forget me, man. Up your game. Forget me, man. I broke it.
You could have had $1 billion. No,
that wouldn't have worked. Because then, how do you trade cards? Like, you have to mail them? That's stupid.
I don't know.
Dumb. I'm dumb. That was a dumb idea. No. Forgive me.
I don't know. Maybe it's just tied to the card. I don't know.
Like, how would you trade the card? Do you have to like pay to mail it?
I don't know.
See, it's dumb. It's already a dumb idea.
Fine. We just need to
holes in itself.
No. We're once we turn this off, now you're gonna tell me the real answer.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're
I don't want you guys to steal my idea. It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, Mark. Thank you so much for showing up. Maybe we'll do one just me and you again sometime, or maybe we'll just screw everybody else. Just be me and you all the time.
Or maybe it will be actually more focused next time.
This was actually a podcast about design, not about video games at all. Didn't you know that?
Was it?
It was now.
Okay.
Who wants a focused podcast? What's the point?
I listen to a focused podcast, or at least I used to.
Then you met me, and now we listen to the Comedy Button.
No, I always listen to the Comedy Button.
Yeah, that's true, but that's not focused.
They're focused
on nothing. They're like Seinfeld.
Yeah, but the thing is, they hone in on the topic that they have at hand.
Kind of. Then you have. No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Listen.
Don't lie.
They don't.
Yes, they do.
Don't lie to yourself, Mark.
What?
It's a great podcast. They're not focused. They end up talking about fucking chloroforming people.
That's fine, and I'm gonna do that to you.
Stop. All right. It was a pleasure. My name's Stefano Fontana. This is the RumblePac podcast. Thanks so much for checking it out. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at Steph_Fontana. I have an Instagram is Fontana Designs or _designs. Mark, how could people view you?
I'm basically on almost every social network. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And you can find me under the nomenclature as Primark Mark.
Yeah, so that's PRIMARC.
Oh wait,
Wow.
We messed up.
PRIMARCHMARK.
Yeah.
Primark Mark.
Yeah.
And obviously Mass Effect reference because you're you.
Me.
And if you want to go to Instagram and see his adorable dog, I would recommend doing that because she's just gorgeous.
I'm pretty sure that account is now going to be.
You need to make a Talisaur Instagram account.
No, I don't want to be that.
You have to be that person.
No, I told someone else that I told them I give you free reign to assassinate me if I ever.
You need to be that person. That's so important.
I can't.
I'd be that person.
I can't. That's kind of no.
I'd be that person.
No.
All right, I'm gonna be that person when I get a dog.
That's fine. You can do that, but I'm not doing that.
All right. All right, guys. Thanks so much. This has been RumblePac, now known as. Hopefully, maybe we want to talk about it with the other guys. Ramble on, episode 1. Cool. Thanks, guys. Bitches.
Thank you.
This is Mark. He's a good dude.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Chris, and this has been another episode of the RumblePac podcast. Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe and share if you like what you hear. Be sure to catch new episodes on SoundCloud and YouTube every Monday. We'll catch you again next time on the RumblePac.